This video might just change the way that you see the world and yourself forever. We live in a time where science and technology seem to be moving at the speed of light, right? But did you know that ancient civilizations over 10,000 years ago had wisdom that we're only beginning to scientifically validate? Aren't just outdated ideas, they're profound truths about the very nature of reality. Now, today we're talking about the Hermetic principles. And don't forget to hit that like, share, and subscribe button if you find this video enlightening, as I got tons of cool content I'll be putting out weekly. Now, these are foundational ideas about life and the universe, first codified over 5,000 years ago. What's fascinating is that modern science, especially fields like quantum physics, are now catching up to these ancient truths. They offer us a framework that not only explains the mechanics of reality, but also empowers us to live more fully and consciously. Before we get into the details, here's a little history. These principles are part of a body of wisdom attributed to a figure called Hermes Trismegistus, or Hermes, the Thrice of Great, a character who shares traits with ancient gods like Thor in Egypt and Hermes from Greece. Now, whether he was a real person or a blend of ancient thinkers, one thing is clear: this wisdom is just as relevant today as it was thousands of years ago. The first of the Hermetic principles is the principle of mentalism. This principle tells us the universe is fundamentally mental. In other words, our consciousness creates our reality. It may sound like a bold claim, but even modern quantum physics supports this idea. As Mark Planck, one of the founders of quantum theory, said back in 1927, consciousness is the matrix of all matter. And just recently, physicist Richard Kahn Henry wrote in the journal Nature, the universe is immaterial, it's mental and spiritual. Live and enjoy. Now think about the placebo effect. People heal because they believe they are healing. That's the power of mentalism. But there's also a flip side, right? Negative thinking can make us sick. This is called the nocebo effect. Our thoughts, positive or negative, shape our reality. So, if you want to change your life, start with changing your mind. The second principle is correspondence, and you've probably heard this phrase: as above, so below, as within, so without. This principle speaks to the fractal nature of the universe. Everything from the smallest atom to the largest galaxy follows the same pattern. It's like looking at a single cell in the body. Within that tiny unit, we can see the blueprint of the entire human organism. It's like looking at a single cell in the body. Within that tiny unit, we can see the blueprint for the entire human organism. Ancient wisdom knew this long before fractal geometry emerged in the 1980s. This interconnectedness tells us that macrocosm and microcosm are reflections of each other. Understanding the small helps us understand the big, and vice versa. Next, we have the principle of vibration. Everything in the universe is in constant motion, always vibrating. Quantum physicists have shown that even at the subatomic level, there's no solid matter. Isn't that crazy? Only vibrating energy. Think of an atom not as a solid object, but a vortex of energy, creating ripples like a stone dropped in water. When you start to understand that everything is vibrating energy, including your thoughts and emotions, you begin to realize that you have the power to tune into different frequencies and to align yourself with that higher vibration, and thus to live a life of greater joy and peace and fulfillment. Now, let's talk about polarity. This principle teaches us that opposites are really just two extremes of the same thing. Think of hot and cold. There's not a difference in essence, just difference in degrees of the same temperature. The same applies to light and dark, good and bad, love and hate. The key to mastering polarity is understanding that these extremes are connected. They're part of the same whole. By recognizing this, we can find balance. We can avoid being pulled too far in one direction, and we can bring harmony into our lives by embracing both sides of the spectrum. These are just a few of the Hermetic principles, but they all work together to offer a profound understanding of how reality functions. Now, ancient people had a grasp of these truths that we're only now beginning to rediscover through science. But the real takeaway here is this: you are powerful beyond measure. Your thoughts, your consciousness, and your understanding of these principles can help you create the life filled with meaning, balance, abundance. So, are you ready to take control of your reality and live in harmony with these universal laws? If so, stay tuned for some more videos I got coming up, as I got some really cool content that I want to share with you, as we're only scratching the surface. So until next time, remember, the power to change your life is already within you. Bye bye for now.